The Scarlet Letter. In 17th-century Puritan Boston, Hester Prynne, a young woman, is led from the town prison to a public scaffold. She holds her infant daughter, Pearl, in her arms. Hester has committed the sin of adultery, and the evidence of her crime is the baby she holds. The townspeople watch in judgment as Hester is made to stand before them, a scarlet letter, embroidered on her chest as a symbol of her sin. Despite their harsh gazes, Hester remains dignified, refusing to reveal the name of Pearl's father. Hester's silent defiance is a source of fascination and contempt for the townspeople. They demand to know the identity of the man who sinned with her, but she remains resolute, choosing to bear the burden of her sin alone. This act of resistance sets the stage for the struggles that Hester will face in a society that seeks to punish and control her. As Hester stands on the scaffold, she notices a stranger in the crowd, a man with a deformity in his shoulder. This man is Roger Chillingworth, Hester's husband, who has been presumed lost at sea. Shocked by Hester's public disgrace, Chillingworth vows to discover the identity of her lover and exact his revenge. Hester, recognizing him, is filled with fear, but she agrees to keep his identity a secret. Chillingworth soon takes up residence in the town, posing as a physician. His outward demeanor is calm, but beneath it lies a simmering desire for revenge. He becomes obsessed with uncovering the identity of Hester's lover, using his skills as a doctor to manipulate those around him. Chillingworth's quest for vengeance begins to consume him, turning him into a figure of malevolence. The town's beloved minister, Arthur Dimmesdale, is a man tormented by guilt. Unbeknownst to the townspeople, he is Pearl's father, and the weight of his hidden sin eats away at him. His health deteriorates, and he becomes increasingly emaciated, yet his sermons grow more powerful, resonating deeply with the congregation. Chillingworth, suspecting that Dimmesdale is the man he seeks, ingratiates himself with the minister under the guise of providing medical care. He becomes Dimmesdale's constant companion, probing the minister's soul with subtle questions and observations. Chillingworth's suspicions are confirmed when he discovers a mark on Dimmesdale's chest, a mark resembling the scarlet letter that Hester wears. This discovery solidifies Chillingworth's resolve to intensify Dimmesdale's suffering. Over the years, Hester endures the scorn of the townspeople, but she does so with quiet strength. She supports herself and Pearl through her needlework, becoming known for her skill and artistry. Despite the stigma attached to her, Hester is a source of comfort and aid to those in need. The scarlet letter, once a symbol of shame, becomes a symbol of her resilience and compassion. Hester's relationship with Pearl is complex. Pearl is a wild, impetuous child, often acting in ways that unsettle Hester. The townspeople view Pearl as the product of sin, and some even suggest that she is possessed by a demon. Hester, however, loves her daughter fiercely, though she worries about Pearl's future in a society that shuns them both. Hester's thoughts often turn to Dimmesdale, and she begins to see the toll that his hidden guilt is taking on him. She resolves to confront him and reveal Chillingworth's true identity, hoping to free Dimmesdale from the torment that Chillingworth is inflicting upon him. Hester arranges a secret meeting with Dimmesdale in the forest, away from the prying eyes of the townspeople. In this secluded setting, they speak openly for the first time in 7 years. Hester reveals Chillingworth's true identity, and Dimmesdale is filled with horror and despair. The two discuss the possibility of leaving Boston and starting a new life together, free from the shame and guilt that have haunted them. For a brief moment, they allow themselves to dream of a future where they can be together openly, with Pearl as their child. The forest, with its wild and untamed beauty, symbolizes the freedom they long for, a freedom that seems just within their grasp. As election day approaches, Dimmesdale feels the weight of his guilt more acutely than ever. He decides that he cannot leave Boston without first confessing his sin. During the election day sermon, he delivers a powerful speech that moves the congregation to tears. Afterward, Dimmesdale ascends the scaffold where Hester had once stood alone. He calls Hester and Pearl to join him, and before the gathered townspeople, he confesses his role in the sin that has marked their lives. Dimmesdale's confession is met with shock and awe. He reveals the scarlet letter that has been seared into his own flesh, a mark of the guilt that has consumed him. With this final act of penance, Dimmesdale collapses and dies in Hester's arms, finally at peace. Chillingworth, having lost the object of his vengeance, withers away and dies shortly after, leaving his wealth to Pearl. The cycle of sin and retribution that has bound these three lives together is broken, and the town is left to reflect on the consequences of their judgment and intolerance. After Dimmesdale's death, Hester and Pearl leave Boston for several years. When Hester eventually returns, she resumes wearing the scarlet letter, not as a symbol of shame, but as a mark of her experiences and the strength she has gained from them. She continues to live a life of service, offering comfort to women who struggle with the rigid moral expectations of their society. Pearl, having inherited Chillingworth's fortune, leaves for Europe, where she leads a fulfilling life. Hester receives occasional letters from her daughter, who has become a woman of grace and influence. Pearl's success is a testament to the resilience and strength that Hester instilled in her. Hester's story becomes a legend in Boston, a tale of sin, suffering, and ultimately, redemption. The Scarlet Letter, once a mark of disgrace, transforms into a symbol of the complexity of human experience and the possibility of forgiveness and growth. Hester's life, though marked by hardship, ends in quiet dignity, a reminder that even in the harshest of societies, grace and redemption are possible.